A very good afternoon to all of you, wherever you may be watching. It is very good to have you. I would like to first take this very opportunity for all Kenyans out there. We know we have COVID-19 and there are Kenyans who are being affected by it, either through health, loss of jobs, some places have closed. I would like to take this opportunity to wish them all the best. And I also hope you are taking these precautions much more seriously, to sanitize, to social distance, to wash your hands, and all what the Minister of Health is saying, so that we can keep safe and all of us can be well. Welcome back to my live session. This is Reuben Kimani. I'm the CEO Username Investment Limited. I'm very glad to have you today so that we can discuss one of the things that have been asked on me quite a number of times, and I would like to answer it in a live session so that it can benefit as many people as possible. This is real estate in Kenya with Reuben Kimani. The question is there enough land for everyone in Kenya? This is a question has come through for many times. When you do our open days, when you do our site visits, people come to the office, and even when we are chatting with Kenyans. This particular week, and I think the last 2 weeks, there's this image that was going around about our grandfathers and some of our parents dancing to reggae and those old school kind of music when land was being shared in Kenya. You may have asked your parent, your guardian, your grandfather what they were doing when the land was being shared in Nairobi. Another very interesting feature, another very interesting history I came across is that, you know, Kasarani was once a swamp, right? We have Syokimau, which I went in 2010. There were many gazelles and giraffes. I don't think they exist anymore. And part of Utawala, they looked like wilderness. Go to Kitengela like in the year 2005. Gazelles, antelopes, and no manner of things. And the question is, right now Kenyans know there's like not enough land for everyone. There are those who believe there is enough land for everyone. And one of my friends even reminded me in the times of Abraham. They had to buy land to bury his wife at some point. That is more than 2,000 years ago, right? They still had to buy land. And by that time, the population, of course, was very small, and they had the world to themselves. So at any given point in history, there's always a lot of land, but you'll find people who are still buying land somewhere. So what is this all about? Consider some facts with me here. Well, if you look at our population in Kenya, we were 47 million the other day, right? Right now, the population growth is at 2.6%. Urbanization growth is at 4.4%. Let me not talk about percentage. What do they mean? We are adding 1 million people to our population every year. That is 2.6%. Urbanization at 4.4% means we are adding 500,000 people to our urban centers, be it Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu, Kapsabet, Nakuru, Nyahururu, and many others. We are adding 500,000 people. Basically, out of the 1 million that is added to the population every year, 500,000 will eventually end up in our cities. We all agree there have been mad rush for plots and properties in Kenya, to an extent where at some point an acre of land in a place like Lavington, Kilimani, Karen, some places in Karen, it was more expensive than some land in New York. It's not a joke. So we have mad rush for properties in key locations in Kenya, and the question is why? There's also another statistic that was being brought across. Need to confirm this one. The 67% of our land in Kenya is unaccounted for. It has not been adjudicated and it has not been allocated to individuals. What 47 millions of Kenyans own, according to this study, is a mere 33%. The titles you hold, the acres you hold. Have you ever driven? Of course, you have used SGR for some of you. From Nairobi to Mombasa, you see all those huge tracts of land. Then you are wondering who is the owner of this land. Some of this land, of course, belong to government, not accounted for. So the question is, do we have enough land in Kenya? The answer is definitely yes. Actually, we have enough land in this world. Maybe except for some few countries where you have billions of people. Even in China, which is like a continent, we still have enough land. It's only that people are concentrated in places where the land is usable. The reality is we don't have enough usable land. We have enough land in Kenya, but we don't have enough usable land in Kenya. And that's why we have a mad rush. That's why you and me are rushing to buy those plots Username Investment is selling. You are rushing to buy the few houses that can be found. Another interesting statistics is about our income levels. 76,000 Kenyans earn 100,000 out of 47 million, according to some study that was done. So it tells you there are very few people in our population who can be able to afford quite a number of properties in our country. Imagine more than 46 million people who may not be able to earn 100,000 and above. That is a scaring statistics. So it tells you the few people who can be able to make an income in Kenya are the ones who are scrambling for the few properties. So if every one of the 47 millions were capable, we would not have enough land in our country, enough usable land. Let me take you back to Thika Road. 10 years ago, I was schooling in Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, famously known as Juja Boys by that time. That is like 15 years ago. And of course, I came to terms seeing what Thika Road was and what it is at this moment. Great transformation. If you go right now to places you would look for land, you can't get. It is very expensive. But if I went in the year 2004 when I joined university, I could easily find properties very cheaply in those areas. What has happened? Infrastructure, the superhighway came and everything changed. Another study said, Thika Road has spawned millionaires and so many of them. Every time you see a road coming through, those are opportunities for some people to become millionaires. Others, like Username, will sell land there. The people you buy from, you pay millions of money to them. There are those who invest there and maybe buy a property for, like, if you look at 2010, for, like, in Kamakis, for example, to get you home at 250,000. Like, it was a kilometer from Tamak, the places where people are living. The same property is going for more than 4 million shillings. Imagine if you bought like 3 pieces, that person easily becomes a very rich person. The other people is the surveyors, people who have been working with us, lawyers. People have made millions. Every time you see a road coming through, there's a chain of people who will be able to make so much money. That was Thika Road 10 years ago. But right now, number one, you cannot find an easily vacant property in Thika Road. And if you find one, it is extremely expensive. And that is what has been happening in our country. So to answer this question, we do have enough land in Kenya, just like in the time of Abraham. But Abraham had to buy some land to bury his wife. But we don't have enough usable land for everyone in Kenya. What is usable land? Land where you can build your own house. Imagine if you work in Nairobi. Can you be able to live, for example, in Marsabit? Of course, it's not possible. You need to own a plot to be able to do that. Very few Kenyans can do that. Land where you can build a house. Land where you can commute in the morning and come to work and go back. Land where maybe you can be able to farm, arable land. Do we have that? So we have a serious shortage of usable land in Kenya. I'll be able to tell you a bit of what we can do to increase the amount of usable land in Kenya? And what can you do as an individual with that information, knowing enough usable land in Kenya? If you go to, let's go to Thika Road, let's go to Mombasa Road, let's also go to Kagudo Road, where Username Investment have very interesting projects. Let's go to Gong Road, where we have been doing projects since 2016. Let's go to Wayakwe, that is becoming a superhighway, and Nairobi Nakuru Highway. All these roads. Can you easily find land where you can build your own house there? Yesterday I was speaking to a previous customer who was looking for an acre and above for farming, but they wanted this land to be 100 kilometers from CBD so that they can commute and come back. And we evaluated many options, and we realized his options were very few. Of places where he can find water, places where it's 100 kilometers from CBD and he can commute and come back, and stuff like that. We realized his options were very few, despite having so many options of land he can buy. Because he need water, he need a place where he can be able to farm, he need a place where he can be able to come back. So get this from me. We have a shortage of usable land in Kenya, and there are many things that you can be able to do. Of course, the government can come in, and I would really like to appreciate. I know we have a discussion about the loan burden in Kenya, the loan ceiling, and it is bringing a lot of fire in our media and amongst the population today. I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on the fact that we have so many roads that are being built in this country, especially in Nairobi. I'll give you a list for me to make my point a bit clear. Number one, you have the expressway that is being built between Mlolongo and James Gishuru. We have the superhighway being built from James Gishuru all the way to Rironi in Rimuru. That's another Thika superhighway of sorts. The dual carriage from the river all the way to Machakos Junction. We have the dualling of Gong Road, and I hope they'll be able to go all the way to Gong Town. And we have a tarmac from Gong Town all the way to Suswa. We have the Western Bypass. I was shocked one day. I did not know it was being built. I went there and I was surprised. From Gitaro all the way to Ruaka, you'll be able to. We also have another bypass here from James Gishuru all the way to Nyali, going to Akina, Ruaka, and to rivers there. Those roads, every time you see such roads, what I see personally are opportunities where people can be able to settle with their own families, opportunities where people can be able to invest. So there are quite a number of many roads. Of course, there are others in Kisumu and Mombasa and stuff like that. For me, I really appreciate those efforts because they mean a lot. First, to the economy, to our business, to majority of Kenyans, we are trying to give a place they can be able to call home. So all these roads are going to give some lifeline to people who want to invest in real estate and to build a place they can be able to call home. I would like to ask the government at this juncture, do as many more roads as possible, and I will look forward to an advent of a light train, especially in the city. One going to Thika or past Thika, another one going to past Gong, another one going to past Joska and Kamulu, another one going to Konza. Something of course, we have SGR and it is working quite well. If I replicate that for a light train, I think we can be able to move very fast and people can get more places they can call home. Even the government itself, with the 500,000 affordable housing target, which I think is not moving quite well at the moment. If you are to open up infrastructure, especially the roads, light train and stuff like that, people will build their own houses in millions. And that's where Username comes in. We do pieces of property that are value added and very affordable, places that are 50 kilometers from CBD so that you can commute there and come back. We are in the business of looking for virgin areas, maybe places that have not been looked into. We have the road, but we're also looking in places like Gong that has not been really exploited, very affordable, infrastructure is coming, and you can build your own home here. What it means, the land there is so affordable, and that's why we keep telling our customers, invest here. The land is going for 500,000, but normally that land would be going for 2 million shillings. So at some point it will be worth 2 million, but at the moment it's 500,000 shillings. So we'd like to convince government to keep doing more about infrastructure. There's also the issue of financing. I know we have Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company and many others. And one of the reasons why Kenyans are not able to, Kenyans want to live in Karen. Who doesn't want to live in Karen? Hands up. Who doesn't want to live in Runda? Hands up. Everyone wants to live in a nice place, but can you afford it? And that's where initiatives driven to ensure that Kenyans can get mortgages in millions. We have 25,000 mortgages in Kenya. Imagine all these years after independence. We can have millions of mortgages, meaning most people can be able to go to a bank, maybe get a mortgage of 15 years. These are mama mboga somewhere, these are fundi somewhere, small business somewhere, and still be able to pay. So that millions of people can be able to afford these homes and these plots that Username is selling. So there is also the question of financing, and that's the reason why, as much as we have very few usable land in Nairobi, this actually would escalate so fast if we had a way of financing millions of people who are looking for financing. We would make more of this unusable land more usable, of course, through infrastructure. The question is, let's go back to the person. You as an investor, and thank you for so much. I can see some people are already tuned in. Thank you so much for tuning in. The big question today, before I leave, what can you do knowing too well we have a scarcity of usable land in our country, land where you can build a home, you can invest, land where you can farm. There are several things you can do as a person. Number one, you need to be someone who is well informed, knowledgeable, and you need to look for the right information. Most of the time I watch business news, I would ask you to look for information. Ask yourself, where are people going? Where are people settling? We've been having Kitengela, and I happy most Kenyans have gone there. Syokimau, Athi River, Ngong area. We have Thika Road, we have Aguda Road, Akina Kamuru and Joska. I'm happy people have gone there. Keep asking yourself, where are people going? So that you know where you need to put your money. One of these areas is so simple. It is not difficult to see. You have Joska, where millions of people will live. Actually, there is a study from the Ministry of Roads. They were trying to project where are people going to live so that they can have a traffic, they can look at traffic and know where to build roads and increase capacity. The biggest population of Nairobi in the next 10 years will be in Kagudo Road, followed by Gong Road, followed by, I think Thika Road is almost to saturation, followed by Mombasa Road. You see, that statistic is very important. So be informed, know where people are going. If you know people are going to stay in Gong in their numbers, you need to put your money there so that you can reap it in 10 years. Look for strategic places. Where is infrastructure being built? Like I said, 10 years ago, you could have found a property for 250,000 in Kamankis, but the property is 4 million 10 years later. What happened? The superhighway. So look for where superhighways are being built, SGR, where roads are being built, because in the next 10 years, those are the places where your property can appreciate by 3,000%. It only happens in property. And these places, they are called selected real estate. Very important concept, which I can teach another day. Meaning, you don't buy land anywhere. You only buy in specific places which are strategic and potential in nature. Places where infrastructure is being built. Places that are next to a major urban center, a university and stuff like that. Places like Konza. Konza is being built day and night, but we don't have that highlight in the media. And that's why I'm saying, look for information that can be able to help you know where people are going, where government is doing infrastructure, know about Vision 2030. It's a document that is there for everyone to read, but I guess most people don't bother with it. Know where people are going, because if you put your money there, that is a smart decision. You'll be able to reap 100-fold, thousands of percentages. Number 3, deliberately budget your money to include money for investment. I use the word deliberate because with money, money is liquid, money is fluid. Money can have wings. The moment it gets into your bank account or your pocket, it can fly away. Deliberately make a budget and allocate a certain amount to investment, even if it is not in property. I'm saying this because land keep appreciating. By the time you come to use them and you're advertising a project, for example, you have a project in Matu right now, touching Garissa Highway, one of the highways we'll know will become a dual carriage in the course of time, going for 379,000. If you want it today when you're advertising, and that project will be sold out in a month. Most of the time, we sell projects very fast because they are affordable and high potential. It will be sold out in a month. But if you don't have money right now, you have to keep waiting, you have to look for loans and stuff like that. So every month, deliberately put money aside for investment to ensure you take charge of something called inflation. If you don't invest in properties right now, inflation will take care of you. You put it in a bank, the money might, maybe you get 7%, most of it will give you 7%. But in property, we have properties bought in 2016 at 150,000, they are worth 800,000 5 years down the line. That is like 400% kind of an appreciation. So budget, and I will also try to advise, because of the rate at which selected real estate, those properties that are potential, not all properties, those properties that are potential in nature, the way they appreciate. I would also advise someone to consider low interest loans. And even the normal loans in Kenya, because you get it at maybe 12.5% or thereabout per year. But if you look at the example I gave for Ngong, for example, these properties were appreciating at a rate of 100% per year. So you see that difference? So taking a loan makes a lot of sense in that case. You may buy a property, say, in the border of, today I use the border of Somalia and Kenya, for example. That property may not appreciate because nothing, that is not selected real estate. Those are the pieces of property I'm saying. We have enough, but it is not usable. So selected real estate. So you can take a loan. There are people who can join a chama and take 10 times the savings they have. There are people who can take loans. There are people who can sell low value properties. Those are not appreciating. Assuming you have a property somewhere where nothing has happened for the last 5 years. You can sell it, buy it in a place that is appreciating very fast. You can get money from fixed deposit, come and put it in properties. You can get money from bonds and bills where you can be able to withdraw by looking at the appreciation rate. I'll talk in the next session, I'll be able to talk about selected real estate, because most people keep asking me, I've bought a property, but it is not appreciating. What is happening here? Is real estate going down? The reality, real estate is not going anywhere. It is resilient, it will keep going up. But there's a very important term we'll discuss next time called selected real estate, so that you understand. I talked about keeping yourself informed as number one. Know what is happening in the country. Try to know about Vision 2030. Try to know about which roads are. I know this is not entertainment. It might not be interesting for most of us. We are following bloggers and entertaining news. Take some time as you follow the entertainment. Also follow the investment news. Know where roads are built and stuff like that, because that will help you make decisions. And even companies like Username Investment, you offer advice to our customers for free. You tell you invest in this place, you'll be able to achieve your personal objectives. The last thing I would like to say, and if you look at the image I talked about, the meme that was spreading the other day, people asking their grandfathers what happened, and I was saying actually you need to have a helmet before you ask such questions to your grandfathers, because they'll kick you hard because they messed up, they made mistakes, and maybe that's the best decision they made at that time. Of course, they made mistakes. You don't want to be part of that statistics. 10, 20 years down the line, your kids are asking you, my dad or mom, where were you when everyone was occupying these properties? And I would like to mention, there are things that will happen in case you don't take action and make investment, especially in land, in the next 10 years to come. And you can take this to the nearest bank next to you. In 10 years to come, if you don't invest in usable land. This is in major towns, land that is within major towns. This is what will happen. Number one, it will be very difficult to get prime properties, because what will happen, Kenyans know what is happening, and most of them keep buying this land. So you'll be going to places like, right now the car road is getting full, Syokimau and Kitengela. We have Kangudo Road that is very good for future investment, Gong area, places where we have so many projects. We even have places in Nakuru and Naivasha, not just in Nairobi, even in Mombasa and Kisumu. Just work with 20 kilometers from CBD of these smaller towns and 50 to 80 kilometers for Nairobi. Places within that radius are perfect for investment. So number one, it will be hard to find prime land. Number two, this land will be unaffordable to you. Remember, you refused to buy Kamakis 10 years ago because there were antelopes, you heard there was a swamp, insecurity and all manner of things. But right now, it's 4 million and we all eat meat there, nyama choma and stuff like that, giving our stories. We talk about our grandfather and stuff like that. And number three, you'll now have to buy, you see, you get humbled. After you realize the mistake 10 years ago, now you buy at 5 times how you'd have bought if you bought it 10 years ago or 5 years ago, if you made a decision then. So there are key principles that you have to check. Check the distance from CBD of 80 kilometers in Nairobi, 50 to 80 in Nairobi, 20 kilometers from other major towns, other smaller towns like Mombasa, Kisumu, other cities, Nakuru. Check that distance, and that land within that vicinity is okay. Number two, check where the roads are being built. Ensure you have a budget, because you don't want to buy at 5 to 10 times what you could have easily bought at the current market value of the moment. You don't lose that way. Do everything possible, do your own calculations, and know what you need to do. So the question remains, and I go back to you, do we have enough land in Kenya? The answer is yes and no. We do have enough land in Kenya, but we don't have enough usable land in Kenya. There's a guy called Mark Twain. He said, buy land, they are not making it anymore. This means that you cannot manufacture land. You cannot increase the size of Kitengela or Syokimau. No. You can only go to Katani, at the river, Konza, and keep going to Salama and further. You cannot manufacture it. And because you can't do that, it's a high time you go to the place that is you can afford now. Don't wait until you have so much money. Ask yourself, what can I afford at the moment? Can I be able to access a loan facility? Can I be able to get a chama where I can get 3, 5, or 10 times and buy selected real estate and stuff like that? If you do that, you'll be safe. Are you late? The answer is, if you look at 10 years ago, you feel like you made a mistake, but life gives us an opportunity every time. So you are not late, and there is something that you can be able to do. We don't have enough usable land in Kenya, and these shambas, the ones that you can be able to farm, the ones you can be able to build your own house, they are not sufficient at the moment. As we build more roads, maybe they will be, but at the moment they are not. So the powers of demand and supply will kick in, and I believe this information is helpful to you. Don't forget to subscribe. Please click on that bell button right there so that you get informed about all the contents that we keep producing. Very good, especially in our Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter channels. Keep tuned in. My name is Reuben Kimani, CEO, Username Investment Limited. Glad to have you today. Looking forward to having you next Thursday, same time, same place. Cheers.